मैडम नमस्कार. हिमांशी मैडम नमस्कार. मैडम हिमांशी राठौड़ मैडम नमस्कार. नमस्कार मैडम, आप ज्वाइन कर लिए. इधर से मैं आपको इनवाइट कर रहा हूँ. मेरा वॉइस आपको आ रहा है? यस यस यस. अभी आप दिख रहे हैं. आपका स्क्रीन अभी वो मोड में नहीं आया है. इधर से मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ आपको सिस्टम से सुनाई पड़ रहा है? आप अनम्यूट कर लीजिए. पहले आप अनम्यूट कर लीजिए. लैपटॉप में माइक अनम्यूट करिए. अनम्यूट योर माइक.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Now
You are audible. अभी मेरा वॉइस आ रहा है मैडम?
No, I am not able to hear you.
Okay, your voice is coming over here, and I think that is sufficient. जोशी जी. Madam, you are
very audible here.
I am not able to hear you. I have unmuted my mic, but I can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay, I will
Okay, I
introduce
will
you to
introduce
the
you to the
learners,
learner,
and then you can
and then
start
you
your
can start
session
your session
because all of
because
us are
all of
able to
us are
listen
able
you.
to listen you.
Okay, okay. Then perfect, perfect.
Good evening, all the learners, or good afternoon as per your timings. Welcome you all to the first counseling session of CNCC program. Today, Professor Himanshi Rathod is going to take the session for all of you. She is from Delhi, having profound academic background. I welcome you, madam. And now I hand over the mic to you. Please start your presentation. Madam, will it be fine? Because your voice is coming to all of
To all
us.
of us.
Okay.
Try once
Try
by
once by
removing the
removing the
headset.
headset.
Um, आपको अभी मेरा स्क्रीन दिख रहा है क्या सर?
Yes, madam. Your screen is visible now.
मैं इसीलिए किसी के लैपटॉप पे काम नहीं कर रही यार
पैनिक क्यों कर रही हो?
मैं कर रही हूँ, मैं एग्जाम अनेबल टू।
Yes. Yes, madam.
हाँ, स्क्रीन पीपीटी खोलो ना अपनी। Ask and anybody should see my.
Good evening, all the students. Are you able to hear me? Because your voice is not coming to me.
Yes, actually, we are hearing you well.
No.
Yeah, I hear you, ma'am. I hear you.
Your voice is coming, madam. Okay, you can start.
Can't see anyone.
पीपीटी खोलो, उनको दिख रही होगी हमारी पीपीटी। They are able to listen to you. बोला ना उन्होंने, समझ रहा है उनको। तुम्हारा स्क्रीन प्रेजेंट होता है। किसी को सुनना है क्या? तुम ना
नहीं
बताओ।
प्लीज ये वाला बतला है।
रिलैक्स हो जाओ। पानी देता हूँ।
नहीं।
You can continue, madam. Your voice is coming.
But sir, I am unable to hear anyone. How can I start?
Then students are able to listen you. They are also telling that you are audible.
Okay. So I'm starting my presentation
Okay.
then.
That's what I was saying. तुम बस बोलो।
Good evening, all the students. My name is Himanshi Rathod, and today I will be taking you a session of your certificate course in nutrition and childcare. So today we will be covering 3 units: Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. And so let's just start with the Unit 1, which is food, nutrition, and health. Now, after learning this unit, you all will be able to answer what food actually is, what are nutrients, what is nutrition and health, and what their interrelation is. And apart from that, you will be able to list the functions of food, how food is handled by our body, discuss the various aspects of food and eating the food, and then you will be able to answer what is health and what are the various dimensions of health involved. So let's start this session today with Unit 1. First of all, we will be discussing what food is. As you all know, food is what we actually eat. But food contains various substances. They contains nutrients. You all are aware what food actually contains. They contains nutrients. Nutrients play various important functions in our body. Like proteins, they are the building blocks of the body. You need carbohydrates, they are the energy giving foods. So you need vitamin A help your help advancing your vision. So nutrients are important for our body, and we get nutrients from our food which we actually eat. Other than nutrients, there are substances that are present in our food, like coloring agents. Like if your food is looking orange, then it must be because of some color which is present in food. Tomatoes looks red because they contain carotenoids. The leaves are green in color because they contains chlorophyll. So other than nutrients, there are other substances also, like coloring agents, then flavoring agents. Our food tastes different in flavors. When we taste sweet fruits, they are sweet in taste, some are bitter in taste. So apart from the nutrients, there are other substances also present in our food. They are colors and flavors. So food is therefore a complex mixture that contains nutrients also and non-nutrient substances also. Clear? Then we are coming to the functions of food. Okay, if food contains various nutrients, then what functions food provides us? There are three typical functions that food provides us. There are psychological function, there are social function, and there are physiological function. Physiological function is the most important one because they gives you energy. First of all, there are energy yielding foods like carbohydrates, protein, fats, because they provide us energy. They are required in our body to perform our daily day-to-day life activities. Then we have bodybuilding foods. But there are bodybuilding foods like protein because they help us building our cells. They helps in repairing the tissues in our body. So we have energy yielding food. They are carbohydrate, proteins, fats. Then we have bodybuilding food. They are proteins. And then we have protective foods. As the name suggests, these foods protect us from diseases like vitamins and minerals. Vitamins are very important for our body because they protect us from deadly diseases like vitamin A. If we are not having enough vitamin A in our diet, then our vision will be compromised. We won't be able to see, and our eye our eyes will be affected. Then vitamin C, if you will not be taking vitamin C in right amount, then the deficiency will lead to the scurvy. There will be teeth related problems like mineral. If we are talking about minerals, then we have calcium. If we are not taking calcium in right amount, your bones will be weaker day by day. So vitamins and minerals are protective foods, and they protect us from various diseases. Their deficiency will lead into serious diseases, and you won't be able to stay healthy and fit. So under the functions of food, we have physiological function. As you can see in the slide, under the physiological function, we have three categories. They are energy yielding foods, bodybuilding foods, and protective foods. And apart from physiological functions, we have social function and psychological functions too. So we have total in 3 functions which are provided by the food. They are physiological function, social function, and psychological function. Now we will be learning these functions little bit in detail. Next, we are starting with physiological functions. As I told you, they are energy giving, body building, and protective foods. Let's talk about the energy giving foods. Foods, as the name suggests, which gives us energy to live our daily life, are energy giving foods. Okay? These are carbohydrates, fats, and protein. How much kilocalories carbohydrates provides us? As you can see in the slide, they provide us 4 kilocalories. 1 gram of carbohydrate gives us 4 kilocalories. Similarly, 1 gram of proteins provides us 4 kilocalories, but 1 gram of fats provides us 9 kilocalories. We get more energy from fat, but carbohydrates should be eaten in more amounts. Then proteins comes, and we have to consume fats in lesser amount. No matter, they provide us more energy, but they have to be eaten sparingly. Then how we calculate this kilocalories? It is the amount of heat which is required to raise the temperature of 1 liter of water. You can read it in the slide. The amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 liter of water by 1 degree Celsius is termed as kilocalories. Now, moving forward, coming to the bodybuilding foods. They are, as I told you, proteins. Proteins which we get from the grilled meat. We can get it from the egg. Egg is a very good source of protein. Almonds, which are nuts, comes under the category of nuts. Almonds, then cottage cheese, they all are rich sources of protein. So if we consume right amount of proteins in our body, they help us to repair our tissues and in the formation of new tissues. Hence, proteins are very important for our body because they helps us in building our cells and repairing of cells and then regeneration of cells, which are very important for our growth and development. Then after learning about the bodybuilding foods, third category is protective foods, which protect us from the infections, from diseases. They are vitamins and minerals. Okay, they are required in right amount, so we have to consume fruits and vegetables in right amounts because minerals and vitamins are basically provided by the vegetables and fruits in our diet. Fruits contains good amount of vitamins like white orange and yellow fruits contains vitamin A because they are rich in carotenoids. Then vitamin C rich fruits, as you know, are kiwi, oranges, malta. They are all vitamin C rich fruits. So we have to eat, consume vegetables and fruit in right amounts if we want vitamins and minerals content in our body. Then apart from the nutrients, there are waste is being produced by our body, which are then moved out from the body via urine and feces, which is possible due to water. So water is also important constituent of our diet. We will be learning about that later on in our slides only. Moving forward, now, the second function that food provides us is psychological function. Food not only provide us the nutrients, but it uh, satisfy our hunger. When we are hungry, when we are need of food, when we eat food, our brain feels satisfied, it gets relaxes. Similarly, when the food is being prepared by your loved ones like your mother, the joy of eating enhances. So food is connected to us psychologically. If it is being prepared by your loved ones, you will enjoy that food more. And if you are eating your favorite food, you will enjoy it more, and your hunger will be satisfied easily. So food is also connected with your brain activity, and it is connected psychologically with your body. So it's not only providing you the energy, or it's not only providing you the nutrients which are required to perform functions, but it is also required for our brain to feel relaxed and satisfied. And then third function which foods provides us is social function. Food creates an atmosphere where you develop and you come closer with the people when you serve food. For example, when you exchange sweets in the occasion of Christmas or Diwali or Eid, then you are not only sharing the food, but you are sharing the emotions. So you are connecting with the people through food. So it also helps us developing the networking. It also helps to maintain the social relations. So food has a social function also, apart from the providing the energies, nutrients. It has social functions also. So these were the three important functions which food provides us. Now we are moving forward with a new topic. After learning about what is food, what are the various functions of food, we should talk about the nutrition. What is nutrition basically? Nutrition is nothing but how the food is being utilized in our body. That study is known as a nutrition. The process by which the digestion is happening in body, the nutrients are being absorbed in our body, how they are being utilized in our body, that studying those all parameters is called as nutrition. So clear, you will be able to answer if someone will ask you what is nutrition. You just have to say in a simple term that the study of how food is being utilized in our body is nutrition. Simple. Now coming to the action, interaction and balance of nutrition. When, as I told you, food contains nutrients. Okay, when we are taking these nutrients in right amount as per the recommended dietary allowances, then we are having a balanced diet. A balance is very important, because some nutrients are required in large amount, they are called as a macronutrients. Some are required in very small amount, they are called as a micronutrients. So what are macronutrients? Macronutrients are which are required in larger amount, like carbohydrates, like proteins, like calcium, which is required in large amount. And what are micronutrients, which are required in very limited amount, like minerals, zinc, selenium. They are required in micrograms, so they are micronutrients. But a balance is required, they have to be eaten in right amount. If, for example, if you will eat calcium more than the recommended dietary allowances, then your body will start producing calcium stones. The body won't be able to handle too much of calcium. If you are taking calcium, what will happen? The body will start developing the calcium stones. Okay, so everything has to be in a balance. The right amount of calcium is required. Along with the calcium, we need phosphorus also. What calcium do? Calcium helps in maintaining the bones. Calcium help in maintaining the teeth, healthy teeth. So apart from calcium, there is a mineral called as a phosphorus, which help in maintaining the bones and teeth in the healthy situation. So both calcium and phosphorus must be supplied to the body in a required amount, neither more nor less. So a balance is required. Okay, I have cleared this with the example. You can write example in your exams that if too much of calcium will be taken, then body will start producing calcium stones. If the calcium will not be taken in right amount, like lesser amount of calcium are present in your diet, then your bones will become weak, your teeth will become unhealthy. So if your bones will be weaker, then you will suffer from osteoporosis, atherosclerosis, your bones will start cracking. So everything has to be in balance. Right amount of calcium is required, which is given in our recommended dietary allowances. Clear? Now we are coming to handling of food and nutrients by the body. How our body handle the foods and nutrients. So once we eat the food, once we are chewing the food in our mouth, the digestion starts from here only. Our saliva start mixing the food, it start breaking the food particles into the smaller one, then the smaller particles come down to the stomach, and thereafter it will go to the large intestine, and this whole process is known as a digestion. About the digestion we will be reading or discussing later in the slides. Here I am just giving you a brief in the slide that what actually digestion is. With the diagram and in a detailed manner, I will be telling you after this unit 1. In under unit 2 we have to discuss what digestion actually is. So here in a simpler manner I am telling you that when the food is going to the mouth, the digestion start from inside the mouth only. It mixes up with the saliva, and then larger particles turn into the smaller particle. It goes into the stomach where the digestion process again further starts, and then it go into the tube like structure which is called the intestine, and the final digestion happens here. The final digestion happens in the intestine. Then the nutrients and the vitamins and minerals, they all are being absorbed in the intestine only. They are all are absorbed by the body, and the rest of the waste material, the waste which is being produced by the body, is moved out in the form of urine and feces. So this entire process is called as digestion. This is how the food and the nutrients are being handled by our body. Now moving next, here I have the various aspects of food. So we have 4 aspects of food: physical environment, psychological, physiological, and social. In the physical, there is an environment like location, climate, weather, the presence of food, the availability of food depends on the location, the climate, as well as the weather. Then psychological, the education, economics, culture. Under the physiological factor, as you can see in this slide, I have given the points, various points under which the various aspects are written. Next we will be discussing these all these aspects in detail in the next slide. So here you can see that under the socio-culture factor, there are superstitions, religion, traditions, and taboos. In some religions, some foods are eaten. In some religion, some foods are eaten. So depending on the religion also, the consumers choose their food and ingredients. As per the traditions also, they choose their food and ingredients. So different religious people choose different food, and they have various taboos also. Then coming to the physiological factor, hunger, taste, and texture. As per their taste, as per their texture, people choose their food. So all these factors influence the acceptance of food. People choose their food as per their choices. Okay, so now we will be discussing these factors in detail. So coming to the physiological factor first, hunger. As I told you, when you are hungry you need food. Then sensations produced by the food. We often accept or reject food because of its tempting aroma. If we like pizzas, then automatically you will feel hungry and you will start having that, right? If we like some porridges, then you will start feeling hungry and you want to have that porridge. immediately. So depending on the taste, depending on the aroma, your body will repulse or accept that particular food. If you don't like particular food, you won't be able to have that. You will reject that food, and you may not like to have that food. So depending on the choice, depending on the taste, depending on the aroma, you will be choosing your food. Then age also influences the choice of food. For example, milk, peanut chicky, cake, etc., they attract child more, whereas the tea, coffee, pizzas, burgers, adults are being uh, attracted towards these kind of food. So age is also another important factors that uh, you know influence the acceptance of food. Then we have socio-culture factor, as I discussed. um, Various occasions, on various special occasions, we cook food which are special, like sweets, chicken, fish, meat. They are being served when there is some special occasions like birthdays, weddings, or some festivities. So according to that also, we are preparing our food. Then we have religious, which are added with our life. Like almost all religions have some regulations on the acceptance of food. For like Buddhists and Jains, they do not consume flesh foods, they do not consume eggs, while Muslims forbid pork consumption. So there are some regulations, rules and regulations which are bounded with the religion. So that also affect the acceptance of food. Now we have the economics of food. Of course, when we buy food, when we purchase food, we need money. So cost also affect the accept cost also affect the uh, ingredients in your kitchen, which are available to you, which are in your reach. You will be buying those ingredients in your daily life. So, food must be within the reach of people. No matter what agricultural, what farmers are growing in their agricultural land, it has to be in your reach. If a country is producing agricultural products in a larger amount, but it is not reaching to the plate of the common people, then there is no point of growing that food in agricultural land. So it has to be available to the common people. So availability of food is very important. The distribution, right distribution of food is of great importance. So hence there are certain government policies which are there in every countries on the distribution of these commodities in right amount. So every country have their own policies through which these cereals, grains, millets, vegetables, sugars, they are being distributed to the various sections of the community. Like for the poor sections, they have other policies, they have um, different schemes for them, and in your country it must be different. So of course the food has to be available in each and every one's plate. That is the most important point over here. Now, we, after discussing about the food, after discussing about the nutrients, the various factors of nutrients, the various factors which influence the acceptance of food, we are now here to discuss the concept of health. What is health? As per the WHO, health is a state of complete well being. It is a complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease. Health is a positive state. In other words, health is a state of complete well being and not just the absence of disease. As the WHO says, you have to look fit, you have to be in a positive state, you have to look fit. And how you can be fit? When you are taking the nutrients in right amount, you are exercising daily, you are working, you are physically active, like for 7 to 8 hours you are involved in activities. you are resting properly, and you are doing exercise daily, you are having nutritious food. So health is a combination of all these things. If you are not taking food in the right amount, then you will be suffering from, you will be feeling fatigue, you will not be feeling active, and you will be looking dull. So even if you are not having any serious disease, you won't be looking healthy. But if you are positive, if you are fit, if you are active, you are taking nutritious food, you are involved in activities, you are doing exercise, your heart is healthy, and apart from that, if you are having some disease, like if you have a diabetes, but that diabetes is on the um, marginal level, and you are looking healthy because you are fit, you are doing all these activities, then your then your health status is good. Okay, so health is a positive state. It's not like you are having any disease, or you know overall you have to be mentally fit. So that's what WHO says. Now, as you can see in the slide, there are different dimensions of health. There are 4 dimensions of health, like physical, mental, social, and spiritual. So your health status is surrounded by these 4 dimensions. They have to be in balance. Okay. Now in the next slide, we will be discussing these in detail. Now, what is physical health? Physically, if you are looking fit, as I told you, if you're responsive, if you are energetic, you're vigorous, you're involved in vigorous activities, your hairs are shiny, your eyes are shiny, you're looking perfectly fit, then your physical health is said to be perfect. Okay, you are alert, you are involved in various activities. And if you're looking dull, if you're looking, your eyes are dull, your face is dull, you're not smiling, then your physical health, uh, you're irritable, you are feeling restless, you're nervous, that shows you are physically not fit. Now we are coming to the mental health. Mental health is like when you have a capacity to uh, adjust in all the situations. If you are responsive, you are sensitive to the emotional needs of other, when people require you and you're always available to help them, then you are mentally fit. You are not involved in conflicts, on you're not looking confused, you're not irritable, and you're not getting irritating by the presence of others, then you are mentally fit. You have a good control on yourself without being getting emotional, jealousy, fear, anger, guilt. These all are uh, uh, good, they are not good for your mental health. So if you are free from these uh, um, what we can say, they are not good for their negativities. If you are out of negativities, then your mental health is perfect and you are just fit. After mental health, we have social health. Any individual who recognize his or her obligations towards other member of the society, you're helpful, you're asking for help, and when they need your help, you are always available, then you are socially healthy. But if you are not talking to anyone, you are not there when they need you, uh, you are living in yourself, you're not talking too much, you're not helping others, you're not looking at them, and you are just involved in yourself, and then people will start call you selfish, and they also will not be available when you will need them. So everyone have to be socially healthy. So we have to maintain the balance of all these 3: physical, mental, social, then only you will be in a good healthy state. After coming, after learning about these physical, mental, social health in detail, we are coming to the spiritual health. What is spirituality? So spiritual health is nothing but a balance between these three: physical, psychological, and social aspects of human life. If you know how to balance this, if you know how to control these three healths, then you are spiritually good. We as an Indian probably understand the spirituality more, because our societies, in our society, religious and moral codes are more, the people believes in all these things. So what we believe, that doing good deeds, if we are doing good to someone, then of course the god will give us the good things. If we are not harming others, then in return we will also get the positive things. So this is the belief, mm, uh, this is the belief towards god. So in spirituality we believe in god, and there is a basic force of goodness, that if we will do good to someone, we will also get good things in return. So this is the spirituality. If we have a balance in our life between the physical, psychological, and social aspects of, then we are spiritually fit. After, so this is all about the health. After knowing about the health, we are moving forward to our next slide, which is the nutritional status. What is nutritional status, and how we can have the balance, uh, in balance towards the nutritional status. So nutritional status is the condition of health of an individual which are being influenced by the utilization of nutrients. How much diet you have taken, how much nutrients are being absorbed by the body, that will describe your nutritional status. Whether you are good in nutritional status, whether you are coming under the nutritional status, or you have taken too much of food, you have taken lot of nutrients beyond the recommended dietary allowances, that state is also not good. So it, again, it has to be in balance. So to determine nutritional status, all of you to do is to put together information about what kind of diet is being consumed. So right amount of nutrients, right kind of diet is required to, to maintain the good nutritional status in our body. So what type of illnesses are present, and how a person can suffer those illnesses, and how we can protect our body from, those illnesses. What is the level of nutrients and other substances in the blood and urine, how we can determine the levels of nutrients in our body. Tell me, there are various tests like urine test, blood test, vitamin test, hemoglobin test. So there are various tests available by which we can, assess the levels of these nutrients, whether the all the levels are in the set parameters or not, or uh, we are consuming less nutrients diet, so we are not falling into those parameters, we are lacking this vitamin, or we have eaten this in excess amount. So this is very important to do regular checkups in our body, so that we can see how nutritionally balanced our body is. So these are the important points which we should know uh, if you want to be in a good nutritional status. So this is the interrelationship between nutrition and health. As you can see in the slide, if we are taking lesser food, then your health is called to be poor. If you are taking the diet in a balanced form, adequate food is eaten, good amount of food is eaten, then you will be in good state. And then if you are eating too much of sugars, too much of carbohydrate, too much of protein, then also your uh, nutritional status will not be good. It will fall into the category of poor health, because if you are eating too much, you will be suffering from obesity, you will be overweight. And overweight and obesity, they are interconnected with the various diseases like diabetes, high blood um, pressure, and there are other associated diseases which, uh, which comes because of the obesity. So these are the three levels that you have to you don't have to eat less food, you have to eat right amount of food if you want to be in good nutritional status. Now this was all about the unit 1. We are coming to the unit 2, which is about the macronutrients. Macronutrients, as I told you, are the nutrients which are required in large amount. Because body consume them in large amount. And after this unit, you all will be able to answer about the digestive system, explain the process of digestion, explain how nutrients are assimilated in our body, what are the functions and importance of these micronutrients in our body, and list the important food sources of these macronutrients. So, coming to the digestion. Digestion is a process, as I told you, complex substances broken down into simpler substances. First of all, when we eat food, it is not being utilized in that form only. The food particles have to be broken down into the simpler uh, substances. Then only it can be utilized by our body. In other words, we can say that the nature of the food has to be completely changed, and this process is called as digestion. Understood? As I told you earlier also in one slide, that digestion starts inside our mouth only. When it's mixed with the saliva, the food particles are broken down from larger ones to the simpler ones, then it go into the stomach where it is being digested, and then it is going to the large intestine where again the digestion process starts and the nutrients are being absorbed. Coming to the next slide, it's again telling you, as I told you, that there is a breakdown of material into the particles and then it passes into the stomach and then large intestine. Here is a figure which I am showing you to explain the process of digestion. As you can see, when we eat food, it mixes with the saliva. It mixes with the saliva, and where the starchy foods are being partially digested. Then it goes into the stomach where various juices are present in the stomach. As you can see in the picture also, we have mentioned that food is mixed with the digestive juice, and then proteins which are present in our body are broken down by the pepsin. What is pepsin? Pepsin is an enzyme that help in break down the protein. So in stomach, your protein is being digested, partially digested. Then what happened to the carbohydrates? It break down the starch into the glucose. Glucose is the simpler form of the carbohydrates. So when we eat our food, they are in the form of starch. Like if you are eating potatoes, if you are eating bread made up of wheat, they are all starchy foods. So once it comes into the stomach, the starch is break down into the glucose, and proteins which are made up of amino acids are the building block of the body. They are also partially break down by the juices, gastric juices, which are available in our stomach. And then it is then the partially digested food is passed to the small intestine where the pancreatic juice, bile juice, intestine juice again start digesting the partially digested food. And then the undigested food, the others are being digested, the proteins are being broken down, the carbohydrates are broken down, all the nutrients are taken up by the body for the energy. Leftover, that is called as an undigested food, mainly cellulose, they are then moved out from the large intestine in the form of the feces. So this is all about the digestion, how the digestion takes place in our body, how the food is being moved from the mouth to the stomach, to the small intestine and to the large intestine. So this is a very simple diagram given in the booklets of CNCC course, and very helpful, very informative. You can see and you can note down this thing. Now moving forward, as I told you, we have two categories of nutrients, macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are required in larger amount. They are carbohydrates, fats, proteins and water, because you have to take these four in large amount. And then vitamins and minerals, they are required in lesser amount, they are required in just micrograms, so they are called as micronutrients. First category is carbohydrates, because these are the main source of our diet. 60 to 70% of food is made up of carbohydrates only. So most of the food that we eat are carbohydrates. This is the maximum constituent of food which we are eating. They are present in rice, wheat, fruits, vegetables, potato, sugar, jaggery, honey. In all forms of food, carbohydrates are present. And carbohydrates have two categories. Complex carbohydrate is there and simpler carbohydrates are there. Complex ones kaun se? The food which body takes time to digest. They are complex carbohydrate like starches, because that needs to be broken down into the simpler form. Then simpler ones are glucose, which can be used directly by the body. If you are, mixing the sugar into the water and then you are having it, it is a complete glucose only. But if you are eating bread, if you are eating potato, then body needs to break down the starch to produce glucose, so they are called as a complex carbohydrate. Because when you are eating bread, which is made up of a wheat contains fiber also. So carbohydrates provide bulk to the body because there are fibers also. Fibers are also important in our body because it gives satiety to the diet. So body needs to digest, body will take time to break down it, body will have to digest it, so they are called as a complex carbohydrate. And the simpler ones are glucose, which doesn't need any digestion, body directly can take these for energy. So this is about the carbohydrate. What are the functions of carbohydrate? Why we are talking much about carbohydrate? Why they are required in 60 to 70% form? Why? Because first of all, carbohydrate provides us energy. Each gram of carbohydrate provides 4 kilocalories of energy to the body. Then protein sparing action is there. It is important to consume the sufficient amount of carbohydrate. Why we are saying that you have to take carbohydrates in right amount? Because if you will not have carbohydrates in right amount, it will start body will start utilizing your protein to produce energy. If the protein will be used for energy by our body, then the proteins function, as I told you, protein function is to repair the cell. For it has protein has to be taken in right amount so that tissues can be formed, regeneration of tissues can be done. So if our body will take protein for the energy action, the other function of the protein will be spared, which carbohydrate cannot do, which other vitamin cannot do, which fat cannot do. So if you will not have carbohydrates in right amount, your proteins will start producing energy in our body, and your protein action, which is actual action, which is regeneration of the cells, that will be compromised. So carbohydrate has to be in right amount. Then fat utilizing action. Carbohydrate also helps in the proper utilization of fat inside the body. Then flavor enhancing carbohydrates like jaggery, sugar, they provide you the flavor. If your food is bland, you won't, then you will not be like to have that food. But if you mix sugar in the cake, or if you add sugar in the bakery products or other products, then it enhances the palatability of the food. You your sensory will take up that food easily, so they have a flavor action also. Then again, digestive action, as I told you, the carbohydrate provides roughage, which is important. They provide fiber to the body. If you are not having fiber in right amount, then you won't be feeling heavy, you won't be feeling bulky, your hunger won't be satisfied. So fiber is also important for digestion. If you're not taking fibrous rich food, then your body will be constipated. So fiber, right amount of fiber is also important. So carbohydrate provide these 5 important function. You can read in the slide. They have a energy giving action, they have a protein sparing action, they have a fat utilizing action, flavor enhancing action, and fifth one is digestive action. So these are the 5 important functions of carbohydrate. These are the food sources of carbohydrates. As I told you, potato, roots and tubers, sugars and jaggery, bread, banana, milk, they are all rich sources of carbohydrate. Then millets, cereals, millets, they all provides you energy, carbohydrates in high amount. Then how these carbohydrates are being digested in our body, this is a big question. How you are what we discussed in our earlier slides were about the complete digestion of food. There is a different digestion for carbohydrates. As I told you, when we start chewing your food, the saliva contains an enzyme which is called a ptyalin. This is a start splitting enzyme. If your starch start breaking down into the glucose, then it will move to the stomach, where inside the stomach we have digestive juices that break down the carbohydrates. Then in intestine, the complete hydrolysis of glucose happens. So there are 3 steps in the digestion of carbohydrates. As you can read also, the saliva that contains the enzyme, then in stomach where the breakdown of carbohydrates, partial breakdown of the carbohydrate, then third one is in intestine where the complete hydrolysis of glucose happens. So what is hydrolysis? If I'm telling you that hydrolysis of glucose is happening in the intestine, the hydrolysis means breakdown of large substances into smaller ones. So glucose units are formed in the intestine, the complete digestion. So 3 steps are there. One in the mouth where saliva is present, then in stomach where digestive juices are present, and the intestine where the bile acid act on the carbohydrate to break down it into the simpler form of carbohydrate that is known as glucose. I think this slide clears you all about the digestion of carbohydrates. Moving to the another slide, what happen if you are not taking the carbohydrates in right amount? First of all, as I told you, the carbohydrate provides you energy. If you are not taking carbohydrate in right amount, then you will be lack of energy. You will feel fatigue. You will be restless. You won't be able to perform your daily activities normally. You will be feeling um, more you won't be involved yourself in vigorous activity because you will be tired all the time. Your work efficiency will not be perfect. There will be poor work efficiency, and you will lead to underweight. Fine. And what if you will eat excess of carbohydrate? The fat which is being stored in the body, it will be stored because carbohydrate won't be able to handle the fat, so it will start depositing on to your tissues and cells, and then it lead to overweight. It will lead to obesity, where you will be then dealing with other diseases, because if you are obese, then there will be diabetes, there will be hypertensive, you will be hypertensive, and other diseases will attract you. So a perfect balance of carbohydrate is really important. Now moving to the proteins. As I told you, proteins are the chief component of our all body tissues because they help in repairing of cells, they help in regeneration of bone tissues. What are proteins basically? What are proteins? Proteins are the building blocks of the body. They are made up of amino acids, and amino acids are the building block of the body. What functions they perform in our body? First of all, they are required for growth and maintenance. They are required for, if a child is there and it has to grow in a certain uh, period, the child has to achieve the milestone, then the protein have to be in right amount, because children require more protein to grow and to develop their body, because the cells are developing at a very faster speed, so they need more protein into the body. Then pregnant lady also required almost double amount of protein as required by the normal person, normal human being, because there are two uh, because a lady is supporting the development of fetus also. So for the growth of fetus, because the fetus is growing uh, at a certain speed, they also need protein, and our ladies also need protein for her body. So the protein demands during the pregnancy becomes double. So for growth and maintenance, the protein is required. The In the diet, the protein amount has to be in a good amount. As per the recommended dietary allowances, during the pregnancy and during the lactation, the protein's demands become doubles. Then the second function is regulation of body processes. Proteins present in the form of enzymes, hormones, which help to regulate the number of body processes. Like, all enzymes are protein, and enzymes are involved in various reactions which are happening in our body. There are reactions, actions, interactions happening in our body uh, due to the enzymes helps in regulating all the mechanisms which are going on inside our body, and they are all proteins. So protein is very important uh, for human beings if they want to perform their body to be in a regular manner. Protein also provide energy like carbohydrate. They are also source of energy. They provide 4 kilocalories, same as per the carbohydrate, but protein food are expensive source of energy, because proteins, in which foods proteins are present, like meat is a good source of protein, pulses are good source of protein, eggs are good source of protein, but they are quite expensive in comparison to the carbohydrates, and they are expensive, and not everybody can afford these sources in like, if there are 7 days in a week, some can afford them all in all the 7 days, and some can only afford in 2 to 3 days. So depending on the economics of a family, the proteins can be selected. Here are the slide. Here is a slide where shows you the protein sources. There are two sources which are available: animal protein sources and plant protein sources, which are non-vegetarians. They have more options for protein because they have egg, meat, fish, poultry, because they are good source of protein. The bioavailability of proteins in these sources are more in comparison to the plant protein sources. They are the proteins which are available in the egg, meat, fish, they are more bioavailable. Bioavailable means they are readily available. When you consume these products, the body can easily take up these proteins. They are more available in the more available form. But when you are eating plant sources like pulses, soybean, nuts, oil, they are also have good amount of protein, but they are less bioavailable. They are in complex form. They are not in that available form, and they need more digestion, and they need more time to break down the protein. So we have two sources of protein, the animal sources and protein sources. You can see in the slide and note down in your booklets. Now, what happens if your diet is not sufficient in protein? What deficiency can affect you if your diet is not sufficient in protein? There is a disease called as a kwashiorkor, which is a protein energy malnutrition that affect basically children in the age of 1 to 4. And this is a protein energy malnutrition if the diet is not uh, good in protein, if the protein is not in a sufficient amount, because as I told you, children require more amount of protein because the cells and the tissues are in the regenerating form, so they need more protein. If the protein is not provided to them at that stage, then they suffer from protein energy malnutrition, which is known as a kwashiorkor. What happen if you are suffering from kwashiorkor? There is that the normal growth will be retarded. You won't be looking like a normal child. Your height will be affected, your weight will be affected, you will be underweight. Then in severe cases there is a edema. What is edema? Edema is the uh, the deposition of water in your body. There will be the body will be watery, and then changes in the hair and skin color will see, and there will the child may suffer from diarrhea. And this is a very deadly diseases because of the repeated episodes of diarrhea that may lead to the death eventually. Then in pregnant mothers, if there is a protein deficiency, then fetus won't be able to grow normally, and the growth will be retarded. There will be preterm delivery, or the baby won't be of normal weight, it would have born underweight. So these are the all factors that affect the uh, normal fetus body. And in lactating mother, if there is a protein deficiency, the milk which is being produced won't be the supply won't be good, and there will be less production of milk, and the milk won't be in good quality of milk will not be there. So these are the things that happen when you are not taking protein in the good amount or sufficient amount, which is recommended by the diet by the which are required in the recommended dietary allowances. Now, how you digest the protein. If we talked about the digestion, then we talked about the digestion of carbohydrate. Now we are talking about the digestion of protein. Protein digestion starts from stomach. As I told you, carbohydrates digestion starts from mouth, but here in the case of proteins, digestion starts from stomach, where the enzyme pepsin is an enzyme that helps in breakdowns of protein into the simpler form. So in stomach, the pepsin is present that breakdowns the protein, where the pepsin is present in stomach that will partially digest the protein. Then it will move on to the small intestine, where the complete digestion is being carried out with the help of proteases. Proteases is again enzyme. They are secreted by the pancreas. So enzymes are required, they are important for breakdown of protein. You have to keep remember that in stomach, pepsin is present to break down the protein, and in small intestine, proteases are present to break down the protein. So this is how the digestion of proteins being carried out in the body. Protein are required two enzymes to break down. One is pepsin and another is proteases. Now we are coming to the fat, which is again a macronutrient. Fats are the concentrated source of energy in our diet, and they provide 9 kilocalories more than the carbohydrate and proteins. They are, and we have both visible and invisible fat. What are visible and invisible fat? Visible fat is which is visible to our eyes, like butter, ghee, or oils, various oils, which we can see and which we use in cooking and we are adding in the salad. They are visible because they are visibly to our naked eyes. Then we have invisible fat, which are present in the food ingredients, like if you are having groundnuts, groundnuts contain certain amount of fat inside those. Then nuts, if you are chewing nuts like almonds, they have almond oil. Sesame seeds, they have sesame oil in that. So if you are having nuts and seeds, if you are having groundnuts, almonds, cashew nuts, they all have oils in them. So we have visible and invisible fat. Let's talk about the function of fat. Why we are saying that we have to take fat in the as a source of energy? Because they also perform certain functions in our body. First of all, source of energy, because they provide you 9 kilocalorie of energy, so they are important. Second, they are carrier of fat soluble vitamins. We will discuss vitamins in unit 4, where we will learn about the vitamins, that we have two categories of vitamin: water soluble and fat soluble. So we have fat soluble vitamins. They are carried to the body through the fat. So fat is a carrier of these vitamins. And what all vitamins are there in fat soluble category? Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. These four vitamins are fat soluble vitamins, and they need fat for their absorption. Okay, then we have insulation function. The layer of fat under our skin provides us insulation. They help in maintaining the body temperature also, and they helps your body to keep in a right temperature. Then we have protection function. It acts as a cushion to important organs. Like if there is a fat layer, you are protected. If there is a shock, if there is external injury, then fat layer will protect you from the extreme injuries. So it protects your body. Then palatability, when you are adding oil, when you are adding butter, it makes your food tasty, it makes your foods palatable. So fat is important to increase the palatability of your food. Mm. If you are having dry food, you will not be able to have that food in large quantity. It will feel dry, your mouth will be dry. So you have to have add oils, butters, to make it uh, tasty and to make it palatable. Then satiety value. Fats and oil, when you are adding it to the food, they give us feeling of fullness and satisfaction, because a dry food, as I told you, cannot be eaten as much. So fat is required to make food tasty also, and it is important to provide energy. It carries the fat soluble vitamins to the body. They help to insulate your body, they help in maintaining the body temperature to the normal temperature, and then they also protect your body from the external injuries. So these are the 4 5 important functions that fat plays. Now, what are the food sources? As I told you, there are visible fat also, there are non-visible fat also, then vegetable source also, and animal source also, like proteins. Vegetable source, when we extract the oils from seeds and nuts, they are the vegetable sources. Like groundnut, mustard oil is available, and mustard oil is used in Indian kitchen uh, at a very large scale. Soybean oil is there, cottonseed oil is there, coconut oil is there. Coconut oil is again used in Indian kitchens for cooking. Sesame oil is also used in cooking. So these are the oils which are being extracted from the seeds and nuts. Then animal sources are also there, like milk, egg yolk, fats like ghee, butter, cream, fish liver oil are also there. So they have origin of animals. So these are the animal sources. So there are the different food sources for fats and oil, and we have many sources as you can see in the slide. Now we I had to discuss what happens if we are not taking fat in right amount. If you're fat deficient, fat affects the body when either they are deficient or excess. If you're deficient, then definitely you will be lack of energy, you will lead to underweight, you will be tired, your work efficiency will not be good, poor work efficiency will lead to, and then there will be deficiency of vitamins. As I told you, there are fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E, K, and if you're not taking foods in right amount, then it will lead to the deficiency of these vitamins. Now what happen if you take excess amount of fat? That will lead to overweight, as in the case of carbohydrate can cause diseases like heart diseases, high blood pressure. But because if you are taking fat in too much uh, amount, then your activity of your heart will be compromised, your arteries, your veins which are present in heart will be blocked, and you will suffer from stroke or heart attack. So there are various serious diseases that can happen if you're taking fat in excess amount. So excess is also not good, and deficiency is also not good. So each and every nutrient have to be in balanced amount. Now how fats are being digested in our body? Fats are being digested in our body mainly in the small intestine. So if we keep remembering, the carbohydrate digestion starts from mouth, small intestine, stomach. Three steps were there. In protein, two steps were there: stomach and intestine. But in case of fat, the complete digestion is being carried out into the small intestine. There is a bile acid present in our gallbladder that breaks fat into the smaller units, and then it is being utilized by our body. So this is how the digestion of fat is being carried out by the body. Now we are coming to the water. The fourth macronutrients which is present in our body is water. Water is basically a constituent which is present in two-thirds of our total body weight is made up of water only, and it present in every cell, every tissue. Water is there. So why water is important? Because it maintains our body temperature to the normal temperature. It has to be there to maintain the body temperature. It acts as a medium also, in which body substances can dissolve. Like uh, if you are having food, then you need water inside the body so that it can be mixed up. What is saliva? Saliva is made up of water only, na? So you need water uh, so that the other substances of the body can be dissolved in that, and the transportation to the different tissue from one tissue to the another tissue can be carried out by the water only. So it is a main component which has to be present in the every cell body, every tissue, and it is main component of urine also. If we have to excrete the waste from whatever we are having in our diet, you need to excrete that. So if you are not having water, enough water, there will be acidity in your body. The water is required so that your acidity can be controlled. So it also protect from external shock and injury, because every cell and tissue, as I told you, is surrounded by the water droplets. So if you have any shock, if you have any external injury, then your body will be protected. And maintaining body temperature is again is important function. So take plenty of water. There is no recommended dietary allowance for water. Like as I told you, for the other macronutrients, it has to be a balance. They should not be taken in the excess. There should not be deficiency of those nutrients. But in case of water, you can take plenty of water in your daily diet, so that there is no case of dehydration. Otherwise there will be a dehydration and your body will start producing acid. There will be acid, and um, you will suffer from acidity, GERD, reflux. So it is recommended that you take plenty of water. At least 8 to 9 liters of water has to be taken in a day. So this was about the macronutrients. Now we are ending today with this session, because we covered here the new first of all we covered food, nutrition, health, all the dimensions of health. Then in unit 2 we covered the digestion process, what are the macronutrients. We talked in detail about the micronutrients, like carbohydrate, how carbohydrate is being utilized in our body, what are the functions of carbohydrates, and what are the sources of carbohydrate. Then we talked about the protein, what are the proteins, functions of protein, how proteins are being utilized in our body, and what are the various sources of protein. Then fat, and finally the water. So today we are ending with the 3 units of block 1 of CNCC program. In another session we will be covering the another 3 units, 3, 4, 4, 5 and 6. So here I'm ending
That is
with the
black tea, madam.
presentation. If anyone have any questions, they can ask me. Here I've stopped.
Madam,
Because I'm unable to hear, I don't know what is there any technical problem. You all can write your questions in the chat box. Okay. I'm reading the questions. There is a question which is asked by Al Hassan Abdullahi, that how we can control our calcium daily intake, means how the quantity that we can utilize per day means in gram. Okay. You are asking me that how you can quantify your calcium intake. Is that what you are asking? First of all, there is a recommended dietary allowances. You can go through that, how much of calcium is required per day. Like if the calcium is required 500 milligrams per day, then you have to see which foods are rich in calcium and how much of calcium is present in that particular food, and then you can calculate it. This is we teach the calculations in higher courses. Maybe you won't be able to learn that technique over here, because in labs, in laboratory manuals, they are given how to calculate the calcium intake in our daily diet. So here I cannot tell you the all the calculations, but simply you can just go through uh, the ingredients which are rich in calcium. You can include those uh, calcium rich ingredients in your diet, and you can see there are in nutritional information given on each and every packet. Behind the packet you can see there is a information given, so you can see how many grams of calciums are present in 100 grams of that particular food, and you can then calculate it, that how many grams of calcium you have taken in a day.
Arjuna
I
Fortunate,
guess I'm clear with
ask your
that.
question.
So it
Yes,
is
madam.
important to read the nutritional information of each and every packet you are purchasing from the market, right?
Yes. Arjuna, fortunate. Now you ask your
Everyone
question.
can type
Unmute
their
your mic
questions in the
or you
chat
type
book,
the question.
chat box.
Arjuna, fortunate. Type the question. Al Hassan Abdullahi. Do you have any question?
Is there any other questions?
Dear students, are you listening me?
Okay, there is another question by Venex Thomas. He is asking that can you go through the dimensions of health again, only mental point? So you want to see the PPT or what? You want to go through the presentation? Type yes if you want,
Yeah.
then I will share my screen to you.
Yes, you have to go through the presentation so that I may follow well.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen to you and I'm going back to that slide. Yeah, here you can see the slide where I have shown the dimensions of health, and we have 4 dimensions: physical, mental, social, and spiritual. And you wanted to see under the mental health implies what mental health implies is. So you can note down here that if you have a good capacity to adjust in a situation, in even in the complex situation, then you are mentally fit. If you are free from conflicts, if you doesn't have any feeling of jealousy, anger, fear, that means you have a good control on your mind. So control over your mind, control over your emotion is important. And you are mentally fit if you have good control on your body. If you are feeling irritating, if you are feeling jealous, you are angry at very, you're short tempered, then that means you doesn't have a good control on your mind and your mental health is upset, because then you are stressful, you are in stress every time. So that means you are not mentally fit. You have anxiety, you have stress, you may lead to depression. So uh, good control over your mind is important. That comes under mental health. So I guess I have cleared my point.
Anyone ask any other question?
Yeah. Now
Is
it's
there
a
any
bit.
other question?
Now it's very clear. Thank you.
Thomas, is it clear? Right.
Anyone? You can ask, feel free to ask the questions.
Yeah, it is very clear right now. Thank you.
Al Hassan Abdullahi, do you have any question? Mr. Al Hassan, any question? Unmute your mic and then talk. Unmute your microphone. Okay. If not about the subject, if you have any administrative problems, like your LMS problem or downloading the ID card problem or any other problem, you just tell us. Okay. Abdullahi, I'm okay, sir. Thanks. Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Any
I
other
have
student?
another problem.
Thomas, come back. Speak.
Yeah. Last time I think I texted you on WhatsApp. Then I was asking about my ID. How can I get my ID? Then I was trying to send you an email, but I could not find your email. Which
Yeah.
one exactly shall I send you so
You
that you
have a
can send me
dedicated
the
email
ID?
ID, cncc.pune@igno.ac.in. Dear student, you have a dedicated email ID, CNCC Pune@igno.ac.in. You send that query to us. We will send your ID card by written email. No problem. Arjuna, fortunately, is looking
Okay,
to
can you
talk
say,
something.
no, can you say the email
Hello?
again? Yeah.
CNCC. See, I will type here. You are getting the messages from there
All right.
only. CNCC
Okay, it will be fine then.
Pune @igno .ac.in.
All right, I got it.
Okay,
Yes.
that is the email ID. You can send your query. We will answer.
All right, thank you.
Madam, are you able to hear me now? Rathore madam, are you able to hear
Yes.
me? Expert. Any other question?
Hello.
Lecture was very good, madam. If the interaction point was there, tomorrow we will check the phone, check through other meeting. Okay, I will. Okay, students, if you have everything answered, and Ajuna Fortunate raised her hand, please type your question. You are not talking, na? Write your question, I will answer. Miss Arjuna Fortunate, please type your question. Okay, you need
Yes, sir.
micronutrients. Tomorrow, madam will come back again, second session, and before beginning of the session, you put all your questions. By tomorrow, you go through block number 2, unit 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, come prepared. Whatever doubts you are having, please note down on a piece of paper. Before the commencement of the session, you can ask your questions one by one, and she will answer all those questions. No problem. Will it be okay? Will it be okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other person? Any other one? Any other problem? Okay, nice. See you tomorrow.
No, I think there is
At
nothing.
the same time.
Yeah.
Not same time. Tomorrow it will be
Not same time.
3:30. Tomorrow it will be 3:30 to 5:30 as per the Indian timing. Please see the schedule. Tomorrow's block is block number 2. Go through block number 2 and then come prepared. Wish you all the best.